Hello guys, and welcome to Lunchtime Coaching. My name is Kevin and I run a business called Business by Design, where we help people advance their personal peak performance. And today we have a very special guest on our Lunchtime Coaching series. She is a founder and CEO of Tatakumo Group Pty Limited. She's a certified coach practitioner. She has a background that spans 15 years in banking, insurance, and sales leadership. She's worked with entrepreneurs, small businesses, owners from various industries, facilitated masterclasses to entrepreneurs on how to sell your brand and effective sales value proposition in partnership with companies like Future Female Pretoria and 67 CEOs. Welcome, Sheila Baloyi. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you so much. That's a mouthful. Hey.
It's not a mouthful. It's like it's so impressive, and thank you for making the time to be online with us today. It's really a privilege and such an honor. I want to just tell us more about who you are and what you do, and give us a bit of a roundup on that, on all of this.
Okay. Thank you once again for having me, Kevin. I really appreciate it. You've said quite a lot. I'm currently passionately coaching in my business, which is Tatakumo Group. And what I definitely do on a daily basis is help businesses, particularly, entrepreneurs and sales leaders, to really grow their sales with great impact and influence, and to build, that revenue, that income that they're looking for. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what I do. How I do it definitely in a coaching manner, in a coaching way of doing things, collaborating, helping people come out of their comfort by thinking and exploring questions and things that they've never thought they could actually use. Sales is about building relationships, and it's about being resilient, which are very valuable skills that anyone who wants to be successful really takes on these kind of skills as well. And yeah, for entrepreneurs, that's really what I like doing. And yeah, that's it.
I mean,
I'm a mom of two. Sorry about that. I'm a mom of two. And what I'm really learning from there, it's such a good thing as well, because it's helping me connect in a better way. Throughout my years as a leader, I've always considered myself as someone who collaborates and who nurtures relationships. So now that I'm able to do it on a full-time basis as well, I've recovered from a lot of other things, like being a workaholic and just being stuck in areas that were not fulfilling. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Fantastic. That's amazing. So Sheila, the first thing that that comes to mind is a lot of, and I'm sure you'll be able to also agree with this statement. A lot of the time, people are so scared of sales, right? So my first question to you is, why sales? Why choose sales as the thing to go out there and help people with? Because I know that people have that instinctive, like, oh my goodness, I can't do sales. I don't want to do sales. I'm not a salesperson. And invariably, everyone is a salesperson. They don't know that they're selling themselves to everyone all the time. So why did you choose sales? And tell us more about what the sales coaching is all about.
Okay. So look, throughout my life, I think I've started selling when I was 6 years, selling sweets here and there, candy and cake sales and all those other things that I would easily initiate. It's an opportunity to really influence people's, opinions and behavior. And everybody is in sales. You are right. It's just that most people don't know it. So my favorite, example is where I grew up in the township in Atteridgeville, Pretoria, west of Pretoria there. So you would find in one street, there'll be two general practitioners, right? Physicians. But you will find the one doctor has a lot of people, whereas the other one doesn't even have, half of what the doctor has in number of patients. Yeah. And that for me, was such an eye-opener. If I can tell you that anyone is in sales, that one doctor that constantly had lots of patients going back there, they were not just getting medical care, they were getting a lot more. that connection, somebody that deeply cares about their symptoms and their concerns, somebody who will also empower them to say, okay, look, you need to take different action for you to be better. So everyone is in sales. And for me, sales is leadership, and leadership is sales. Might be contradicting in a way as well, but there's this saying that to be a leader, or people that are leaders are actually comfortable being uncomfortable. And then that's purely what sales is all about. Anybody that says, I'm going to come out of my comfort zone, I'm going to really build my confidence, because trust me, people in sales it doesn't mean that you are immune from all the other challenges that a normal or average person will experience. So it's someone who's mentally strong, somebody who's super resilient, that's somebody who's very independent, and those are characteristics of leaders. Somebody who's also collaborative, somebody who's willing to be vulnerable and really grow themselves and others, and somebody simply who wants to serve. And that's really what drew me to it. The mere fact that you can literally, write your own paycheck at any point, that's a bonus, but sales coaching literally takes you through all those kind of dynamics. So where we focus on three particular things. Mainly, it's your leads, your opportunities. When you get new opportunity, in most cases, it's easier to lose or to mess up that opportunity because you don't know what to do. You get overwhelmed, not being able to take somebody from that one like, or somebody being interested in inquiring about your business and taking them through to closing that opportunity, that deal. So it takes a lot of coaching there. It's not just about selling techniques, because selling techniques, anyone and everyone can read up on internet. You can buy books. The big thing is, if you can read a book and apply every single thing in it, we will all be billionaires, right? So so we coach entrepreneurs and individuals, literally, sales professionals, to walk through that milestone of really producing, closing those real deals, not the whole process of just closing. Sales has changed these days. Everything else has gone digital, which means it requires a lot of more human interaction. And it's in that process, it takes twice as much to build trust and rapport. So those are the kind of things that we literally take someone in that sales leadership and opportunity coaching. Then we've got a second part of the coaching where we're doing more skills and behavior. So we are people of habits. We are creatures of habits. And what you used to do back then, what people consider as sales, where people were overpromised, service or whatever products, and they were sold on ideas, and people were not able to deliver. So all those kind of myths that were always there about sales and all sort of other things. There's good behavior and there's bad behavior that can always be corrected, because being not doing not really being on point with the correct behaviors in terms of how you're serving clients and how you really coming across in terms of your conversations with your clients, it becomes a bit of a problem, because those kind of sales fall off. You're not able to build good relationships. So those are the kind of behaviors that we learn. Building trust and extending trust, being resilient. We all know that every other person has their own fair share of resilience, but it requires a different level of resilience, where you are mindful of it and you are aware of how to handle and cope with any other transition that comes across your space. So that's what we will focus on that behavior coaching. On skills, literally, it's for entrepreneurs, particularly in businesses. We help businesses structure their sales process. This is how do you get people to actually be your leads and to ultimately having them as your paying clients. So we help them with strategy on how to set your sales process and all sorts. We teach their teams how to sell, the technicalities of how to sell, because it's all in the language, it's all in in the way you prospect, how you do your research about your customer research, your prospecting in all other forms, whatever platform you're using, be it on cold calling, cold emailing. Now it's everything online and digital. So it's there's techniques that we train people on there. And also,
sorry, Sheila, to interrupt. I love what you're saying, because the more you speak, the more you understand, and that's also my approach to sales. That sales is more than just this one singular thing. I look at one of the key elements that I've learned is reframing that idea of sales, and just say, stop thinking that you're selling something, but think of having a really great conversation with someone. That's the one thing I always want to sort of emphasize when approaching anybody. But also the second thing is, people don't buy what you're selling, but why you're selling it. So to get your head, I always recommend that people get their heads out of that. Oh, I'm selling this thing, this program or this product. And I look at our leadership programs. We have a variety of leadership programs that we share with corporates and individuals. And it's not the fact that we're selling effective leadership program, but rather why this program will actually change how you do leadership in your day-to-day activities. So one of the questions I do want to touch on is how do I know that I'm getting the right coach? Because there are so many coaches out there. If you go on LinkedIn right now and type in coach, there are thousands upon thousands of coaches. How do I know as an individual, what would you say would be a good sort of entry point with getting a sales coach on board, and what should I be looking for? I mean, obviously they should use you and me, but I mean, if they didn't use you and me, what should I look out for?
Yeah, look, there's just a low entry into coaching. And what's been happening now is, corporates or companies will then convert their sales managers to be coaches. But because there's skills to coaching. So ideally, you want to appoint someone who's gone through coaching training, right? Where you're learning all the dynamics, you're learning the fundamentals, you're learning literally about, how to facilitate learning, firstly. So the person needs to be able to get out of themselves, their space, and be able to hold space for other people as well. Not being judgmental. So in a selling space, especially, why you would want to consider an external coach particularly, it's because everybody else is so involved. The targets, money, all the goals with the internal coach, which is the sales manager in this case, it's also linked, So in this case, when you're coaching, you need to not have any other agenda. And one can be able to learn all of that if you've gone through proper, coach training. Yes, there's multiple of schools out there that are training, but it's very, very important that, one works with someone that's gone through the process as well. Yes, because there's low entry to coaching as well, we always advocate for people to be certified. It's always good to work with someone who's also you can easily trust with your confidentiality, with information, and they have the experience. They know what they're talking about. So to be an expert in a particular area, especially about selling for this, in this case, it's not just about behavior, or your emotions, or your motivation levels, because that's only behavior. But you need someone who will also be able to take you through strategy, the technicalities of selling, the methodologies, how to test it, how to do a little bit of marketing here, because there's a difference between sales and marketing. There is an alignment also. You need someone who will be able to expose you to all those learning tools. Most importantly, you want somebody who will tap into your strengths, because that's what coaching is about. Coaching works with you and your strengths, your potential strength, because that's how people get to that high level of performance. And literally those are the kind of fundamentals that you want to look out for. And somebody who's worked in the industry. I think it's important that everyone knows what they're talking about. That's what we usually, people make a decision on. I can get value mainly because this person is, providing that value.
Yeah, I would also, I would also suggest, I mean, I love what you're saying because, from my perspective, it's a case of going, well, what is the credibility does this person hold, and I would literally go out and start looking, online and checking, who are they, what have they done, who are they involved with, what do I know more about? And I'd also ask for some testimonials from people, it's, I think people often get into that frame of mind that coaching is this ego-driven thing first off, and it really isn't, because you have to have a certain amount of humility and empathy for the person who's asking for some coaching. So if people are looking at doing coaching, they really need to consider, if they have that humility in them, and how they actually want to be able to help and serve. But I mean, we could spend an hour discussing it, but we only have so much time because it's lunchtime coaching and it's only half an hour. Today, the aim of what we do is to share value and to share some kind of insight with anyone who's listening and watching. So I know that you brought us a wonderful tool. And you want to share that tool with us. It's the William Bridges transition model. Don't you want to share that and why this is a really fantastic tool, and why is this something you use?
All right. So I'm going to be quick. So if I can take the whole day talking about it, but I'm going to be very quick. So I mean, currently with the pandemic, the truth is, as coaching also, another thing that we really clarify is that we are not in our heads and trying to be all positive and everything like that. But it's important that we also share hope, and we help, clients move from this whole stuckness of being in a pandemic and uncertainty thereof. So especially this tool is valuable for anyone in business and for people, salespeople in corporate as well. When you're leading teams, and especially during such an uncertain time, those are the kind of things that you need to be aware of. So the model has 3 phases. It talks about something that ends, the ending. And the ending, usually in this case, we all got up to lockdown. From lockdown, now the economy is reopening. So the ending needs to be very thoroughly clarified. What actually ends? So that's a deep question for anyone to really go through. It's not just a salary cut. It's not just working from home. It's not just the face-to-face interactions that's ending, especially for salespeople, but what deeper things are actually ending for you. And currently with the reopening, the model then goes from ending to the second phase, which is the neutral zone. And that's where we're currently at. And this is such a phase where there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of creativity that's coming up. There's quite a lot of uncertainty and incongruence that is happening during the neutral zone. And the neutral zone is not a new normal. So that's the one thing that I wanted to really share with you, because in as much as we're creating all this hope and we want people to really, really focus on the future, which is the power of coaching as well, to say, how can you move yourself from where you are into where you want to be, because the neutral zone is not that space. The neutral zone is to explore all things that are possible for you to really come out strong. And the last part thereof, that would be the beginning, the new normal. That will then be the normal. With this pandemic, we don't know when that will be. We definitely know it's not going to be a normal U-shape, recovery. It can take any other form of recovery. It might take a bit longer, but how we structure the new normal and how we prepare for it, it's all this, everything that's happening now in how we're taking ourselves from this space of uncertainty, of incongruence, to move to the next phase, which is the new normal. And the new normal, it's always possible to craft it. So what's been happening lately is that everybody just said, just thinking from lockdown, when things reopen, things will go back to normal. But William Bridges talks about the difference between change and transition. So change is something that is happening externally. And that happens on a regular basis. We all, talk about it freely, that change is the only constant. But he also then defines transition to say it's a psychological process. So I'm not so sure if you may have noticed, I also volunteer with another company that helps people with depression and anxiety. And mental health has been, at a high peak, especially during this period, because transition is psychological. So for anyone who's going back to work, anyone who's working in their business, that is why it's important that they really pay attention. Everyone pays attention to how their psychological reaction towards this process. So that's a tool I use, mainly because, we're always in transition. There's quite a lot of people, especially someone moving from corporate. We were talking about it the other day. Somebody moves from a corporate world to starting a business. I personally went through quite a few transitions just before I went into my business. And the power one, for me, that's something that drew me to being aware of my resilience and how I actually react to transition, was when I lost my mother, and who was very sick and battled female cancer. So it's important that in the neutral zone you really, really pay attention to your psychological, and you explore all things possible. So in this period, what my wish is to see people really not just adapting to it's going to be digital, but what else? I know the whole world is being very creative around what is next, but I really like using this particular model to help people to explore anything and everything that is possible for them.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. This is such a wonderful, brain tool to use to sort of have an ending, to have a neutralized zone, and to say, okay, what's my new normal? I think, what I've also come across is a lot of the people, a lot of my coaching clients, they're really struggling with keeping it together, And I think, we with the ending as part number one, we should also just allow ourselves to let the wheels just fall off and just say, you know what? This wasn't expected. No one expected it to be this severe. And okay, so it's the wheels have come off, and it is an ending. It's an ending of so many things, and it may even be a bit of grief that you feel that you've lost. Maybe you've lost your business. Maybe you've lost a lot of contacts. Maybe you've lost a dream that you were building on, and it's now changed. There's absolutely grief that people will go through, but that neutral zone it's a beautiful place, because once you've acknowledged the ending, and you kind of in the psychological, they call it radical acceptance. It's radical. It's like it's an absolute certainty that this is ended and I'm here now. So if you're here now, where do we go from here? And I think that's the beautiful, part of the neutral zone, because then suddenly you're going, so what is possible? What is possible now? What else is there? What could possibly come from this? And, one of the other coaches also speak about divergent thinking, and really getting your brain on thinking, if you've been sort of aimed and honed in on doing this one thing, how do we do even more than what we usually do? Or how do I do something that I've never even considered doing? Doing lunchtime coaching sessions was not on my radar 6 months ago.
I remember it was lunchtime coach, business. So now it's gone to marketing, to a job well done there.
Thank you. So Sheila, thank you so much for that. It's the William Bridges transition model, and it's the ending, the neutral, and the new normal zones that you really have to consider. But what I want to leave us with, just tell us how has COVID affected you? Because I think a lot of people have this impression that, people in our position are not affected. And yet, we are affected. We're affected, but, how you and I respond may be quite different to a lot of other people. But essentially, how have you been affected? And what is the future? What does your next 12 months look like?
Yeah, so it's really been challenging, to be honest with you. What I can tell you is that our work, or my work particularly, it's more information intensive. Creating content is the bigger thing. So this was a good opportunity for me to really, really lay low and really craft in the content that I'm creating. But what it's really affected me it's one-on-one coachings. Yes, I still did a lot of face-to-face. It's easier to do online, and I've been doing online throughout. But now, because it's not considered as an essential, remember, most people will consider an essential things that they can easily see, because of the fear of not knowing what's going to happen. They're not investing in themselves, particularly in coaching, So that has now opened a bigger gap where I could easily, post a coaching program. People will easily sign up. But now, everyone is sort of leaning towards what other free opportunities do you have. And yeah, in that particular case, for anyone to really try and sell, it's been a bit of a challenge. I never stopped selling, in a sense that we can't stop selling. We can only be empathetic and really, really understand what our clients are going through. But yeah, financially, it's hit me a bit. And what I'm looking forward to, the opportunity of having had the time to really work on my content and craft my signature programs. I'm putting them up online in no time. And I'm doing an online course as well, so setting up quite a lot of online courses. So that, opens the door for a beautiful growth, especially in my business. So I've been working on that, and I've been taking good care of myself. I've been resting enough. We talk about mindfulness in coaching sessions or in coaching spaces, but it's really truly become part of my life. And having spent time with my kids and created a very warm, safe space for them, that was amazing for me. Going forward, ultimately, I want to see Tuto Kumo as a coaching, center, a coaching institute where anyone will have, coming from any other walk of life, will just walk in and there'll be a coach ready for them. So that's how big I want to grow my coaching business. And for the next 12 months, I'm definitely going to be focusing on selling those online courses and really, clarifying my signature program. Just to give you a snapshot of it, it's a coaching program that really accommodates coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, and leaders, right? And we're really focusing on empowering resilience. And if you look at anything and everything about empowering resilience is ultimately going to help you reach your goals and make more sales and grow your revenue.
Fantastic.
So yeah, that's me.
That's amazing. I'm loving that. Sheila, so just to round off today, where can people get hold of you? Give us some idea on your Instagram and your handles. Where do we get hold of you?
All right. So on Instagram, I've got my personal, where I'm mostly pushing my personal coaching there. And it's at Miss Sheila, MSHEILA 01. And my business one, it's at Tuto Kumo Coaching. That is on Instagram. And on Facebook, there is Miss Sheila _coach. And on LinkedIn, otherwise it's easier there. I'm getting quite a lot of traction there. So LinkedIn, I've got a YouTube channel coming up, so I'll be sharing it up there. Otherwise, you can email me directly. My email address is my name, Sheila, SHEILA @tutokumo.co.za. Check out our website as well. But most importantly, if you email me directly, I'm happy to have a conversation. And yeah, every single month, there is an opportunity for anyone and everyone to come and explore their thinking, the opportunities for career growth, the opportunities particularly for business growth and raising their influence. So they can even easily email me for a 30 minutes conversation.
Fantastic. Yay. Thank you so much, Sheila. Guys, today's, what we're going to end off today is the featuring leadership program called the Effective Leadership Development Program. If you want to find out more about that, it covers wonderful building a base of success, the purpose of leadership, time and mind management, accountability, and you can check that out on businessbydesign.co.za. I'm going to leave you with a wonderful quote that I've got posted online as well. Imagine that we cultivate a winning culture. Thank you so much, Sheila. Thank you for joining us for Lunchtime Coaching. And all of this information will be in the description box below. So all Sheila's details, all my details will all be there. So check it out, guys. If you want to chat with one of us, if you need some help with anything, we are available and we'll make ourselves available. Sheila, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. And thank you a lot as well, Kevin. Have a wonderful day further.
Thank you. Cheers for now.